So, I have a question for you. How are great ideas created? And what role does mental wellness play in someone creating a great idea versus just a good idea?
Okay, so I would say to answer the first part of your question, let's split it in two parts. And how are great ideas created? Our experience and the research suggests that the most reliable way to have a good idea is to have a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
So rather than trying to come up with a good idea, you should try to come up with more ideas, very simply. My favorite definition of creativity is what I heard a seventh grader in Ohio say once. She said, creativity is doing more than the first thing you think of.
Wow.
And I think it's a very, very good definition. And for a lot of people, there's a tendency, it's called satisficing. It's called the Einstein effect. There's a tendency to want to move on. The moment you think of a solution that's good enough, you move on. And you cease to look for better solutions, and you actually become blinded to better solutions because you think you've already solved the problem. And so that idea of just doing more than you think is actually, it's the simplest way to describe the path to a great idea. It's keep looking. The way great ideas happen is by the continuous search and the continuous idea generation process. And then the second part of your question, what role does mental health play? I mean, I can say from personal experience, when I am, experiencing distractions or discouragement or sadness or, loneliness or all sorts of things that can affect my mental health. When my mental health isn't good, my creativity follows. It's a reflection of my mental health. It's not to say that great art and great creativity can't come from a place of great feeling, not at all. But it is to say that mental health is essential to the creative act, because you have to have your mental faculties to create. Creativity happens in the mind, actually. And it gets down to this question of what's an idea.
Uh-huh.
Fundamentally, what's an idea? It's very simply a connection between two things you already know. That's it. Our brains don't create something from nothing. They create something from component parts. And mental health, one way of saying it is it's the ability to access the various component parts at your disposal. The more healthy you are, the more component parts, or Lego blocks, you could almost picture them, that you have to be able to connect. The less mentally healthy you are, the less Lego blocks are available to you, and the less facile you are at trying on new connections.
That's so true, because if someone is mentally well, they feel more confident and are more prone to share their ideas.
Yeah,
Whereas if someone is
absolutely.
not mentally well, then they feel so self-conscious that they just keep it inside their head, and then and the idea never makes it to daylight, right?
That's exactly right.